For synchronous classes in particular, where attendance matters, attendance is tracked automatically in in Zoom, in Canvas. It's always been tracked automatically in Zoom. There was just a couple of clicks you had to go through to get there before. Now it's much quicker and much easier. And again, I hope you'll see that. I'm going to show that to you in a moment. So this is, again, after classes ended, right? I've ended my recordings. I've ended my class meetings. Attendance, I don't know how long attendance takes to appear there. The meeting has to end, however. So I noticed that when I created a recurring meeting with no meeting pattern, that the recurring meeting with no meeting pattern, I had a hard time finding the attendance. So if the scheduled meeting is over, then it's pretty quick that the attendance shows up in Canvas. And then for storage, okay, so here's the trick with storage. I mentioned, right, we were surprised, well, everyone was surprised, of course, by the pandemic. And the Tech Connect contract with Zoom, of course, understandably, did not anticipate a dramatic increase in storage, right? Because remember, our colleagues from across the state were using Zoom for their lectures and recording them and sharing links to those 2-hour, recorded lectures with their students. And the contract also not only did it not anticipate the storage requirements, but it didn't anticipate the flexibility that might be needed. Hey, we need to change the terms of our contract, right? So there were some things about the contract. And again, I don't mean to blame anyone because no one knew that pandemic was coming. And we had some scares over the past year where we thought we might lose access to, I think the worst thing was there was going to be any recordings that were made before August 31st were going to be deleted on March 9th. And so I think those dates are right, and the year quite doesn't matter. But if you can imagine, we had faculty during the summer who were pre-recording their lectures. Those were done before August 31st. They might want to use them in the spring semester, say. So there was some panic about that. I don't think that at Los Rios, any of us got hurt by that. We now have control over our own storage allocation, that kind of stuff. So that is much better. But still, it's a good lesson for us not to depend on something like that. So here's what I recommend for where you store your videos. You can download them, of course, from Zoom. And I mentioned 3 options here, YouTube, Canvas Studio, or 3C Media Solutions. YouTube is free and has unlimited storage and is just awesome. There's so many things you can do with a YouTube video. You can take a YouTube video and bring it into Canvas Studio and use the Canvas Studio player if you are using the interactive parts and the kind of data analysis that Canvas Studio has automatically. A difference between Canvas Studio and YouTube, or I should say YouTube standalone versus Canvas Studio, whatever the video is that the YouTube video will not, you'll track the number of views, but it won't tell you who viewed. Whereas in Canvas Studio, you can tell for each student whether they watched the video and how long they watched and which parts of the video they didn't watch. So that's built into Canvas Studio automatically. And again, you can use the Canvas Studio player to play a YouTube video. You don't have to store it inside Canvas Studio. Why you would upload to Canvas Studio versus why you would upload to YouTube is if you are really, really hyper concerned about the privacy, or if you are concerned about copyright, because YouTube automatically checks every single image, video, sound for copyright violations, and you can get flagged. And then it's not as bad as it used to be, but it can be a pain in the butt. So you can upload a copyrighted video into Canvas Studio. That's entirely within Los Rios. And so we are protected under copyright law, depending on your interpretation, but also the automatic YouTube video, copyright checkers, content checkers aren't doing that for Canvas Studio. And then 3C Media Solutions, that is also part of the Tech Connect grants as part of that program, but they manage their own servers, they manage their own stuff. 3C Media Solutions is also unlimited storage, like YouTube. It has some stuff like YouTube. The nice benefit about 3C Media Solutions is they have an automatic, it's by request, but they have a captioning service that's built in. And you can have manually captioned videos that you upload to 3C Media Solutions. And I'll talk about captioning. You can see that's on the list here. Also notes from after class, I mentioned trimming recordings to smaller than 10-minute chunks. How you can do that is with QuickTime on Mac or Photos on Windows. And I'm going to see if I can do that really quickly on my computer here. So let's go to desktop, and I'm going to open QuickTime. And so here's what I would do with QuickTime, right? Is I would go open a video. Yeah, this is a video that I made for my history class, I think. Perfect. So I got some stuff I want to chop out from there. So let's pretend this is a long video, right? I'm using QuickTime Player, more or less the same steps on a Windows computer that you using the Photos app in Windows. So I open it with QuickTime. Okay, I'm going to mute it so that we don't hear me talking. But if I scrub through the video, right, you'll see me talking. I think I messed up. No, I didn't. Okay, so I want to trim. I want to get rid of the beginning here, right? Here's me making sure my teeth are clean, starting the video. There's my smile. Okay, right about there. That's 3 seconds in. And at the end, you'll see me smile again, and then I'll reach to turn off the computer. Okay, turn off the video rather. I'm going to trim the ends of this, right? So here's, again, how I could imagine doing this with that longer video. And instead of 15 seconds, pretend I'm playing with a longer time. Okay, so in QuickTime, if I do Commands T or Apple T for you old schoolers, I can bring up the trim window. And it's at the bottom of the screen here. I see the yellow box. And basically, I grab the slider until I find, okay, that's perfect. And then I'll grab the other slider. There we go. And then there's a trim button in the lower right-hand corner. I hit trim. And now I have an untitled or an unsaved video, of course. I'm going to quit QuickTime so I can be prompted to, oh no, I don't want to do MOV. I want to do File, Export as, and I'll say, so let's go into YouTube and let me do a quick test. So let's open up YouTube. And once you have your YouTube account, you can click on a create button at the top there. I'm going to say upload video.
Consent.
And let's drag and drop. So let's go, that's for my downloads. Test.mov, that should work just fine. Yeah, okay. So that's the YouTube download process, upload process rather. I'm not going to worry about the rest of that, except to say one thing here, and that is the visibility option. In YouTube, I like to have all my videos listed, or almost all my videos I put as unlisted, especially ones I'm going to show with students. So in YouTube, let me take a step back and talk about sharing. Sharing in Canvas and Studio, I don't need to worry about because I control that totally within the class, right? You can choose to share a studio video with a colleague, and then they can choose to share it with their students, but students can't find our videos unless we make them available to them within the Canvas course. YouTube, if you make your video public, then it's searchable and findable by anyone who has access to YouTube. If you make it private, then the only people that can access it are the individuals that you select to watch the video. I'm not going to do this for any of my student videos because I have to track and find the YouTube user. Oh, no. So I make it unlisted. So unlisted means that anyone who has the link can watch the video, but it's not going to be searchable or findable. So the risk with privacy about YouTube is that if I put a video out there, then someone could take the video that I put as unlisted and they could just forward the email, right? They could forward the share link to anyone. So that is a thing to think about. And that is a reason to use Canvas Studio exclusively versus YouTube. Okay, so I'll just hit save here. I'm going to leave that there. Come back here and talk briefly about captioning and say, a benefit of using shorter videos is that they are much easier to manually caption. You can, and I'll tell you the status of the captioning right now and then give hope. So right now, due to the demands on the system, thanks to the pandemic, we actually got a legal direction from the statewide chancellor's council that said, all of our captioning services, so this is 3C Media Solutions, should focus on students who have an identified need. So this is students who are, they have an accommodations letter, right? I'm hard of hearing or I'm deaf, I need to have captions. And so 3C Media Solutions, those are the only videos they are captioning. And if you log into 3C Media, there's basically an email and they ask for certain information. And in that email, the information, they don't ask us to share the accommodations letter with our students. But they do ask us, do you have a student who has this accommodation? You certify, yes, they do, and then they'll take care of the captioning for you. And then I've never heard of them asking to see those letters of accommodation, but it's something to know that they do, we do say that, yes, we have a student in that case. What the hope that I have is that we will soon have a process for doing this within Los Rios for all of our videos. That is my understanding. I don't have anything official to say about that yet, but there should be an announcement coming soon, like within a couple of weeks about that. So if you're concerned, as we all should be, about captioning our videos, our recorded videos, right now we can have 3CMU Solutions do it if we have a student with an accommodation. We can do it ourselves. YouTube's captions are editable, so are Canvas Studios. And so those are options that we have. And then again, there will be some other process that is coming within Los Rios.